What if I told you that the closure you're begging for, the apology, the text, the late-night explanation, the neatly tied goodbye isn't coming? What if I told you that's not your loss? That's your edge? Pause. Breathe. Most people won't tell you this. Most content online panders to your feelings, promises that healing will come when she explains herself. But I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you the truth that will set you free. The silence she left behind? It's not your punishment, it's your permission. Permission to rise without her. Permission to evolve without her. Permission to become untouchable. This isn't just about getting over her. This is about something much deeper. This is about forging yourself into a man who never again begs for answers from someone too weak to give them. If that's you, if you're done waiting, done questioning, done breaking, then lock in, because I'm going to show you how to weaponize silence, how to reframe closure, and how to walk into your next chapter with power, not pain. Comment below, her silence made me stronger. Let's begin. 1. She doesn't owe you closure, and that's the gift. Let's get something straight. She doesn't owe you closure. She doesn't owe you an apology. She doesn't owe you a late-night text with paragraphs explaining her decision. You don't need it. In fact, it's better you never get it. Because closure is an illusion, a fantasy we create when we're desperate to make sense of what hurt us. But real life isn't a movie. There's no final scene, no satisfying epilogue, and most people don't leave in a way that makes sense because they don't have the courage to do it properly. They leave the door cracked, hoping you'll chase. They disappear without a word, hoping you'll spiral. They want to exit your life and still live rent-free in your mind. But here's where you flip the script. You don't chase, you don't spiral, you don't beg. Instead you say, she showed me who she is by how she left, and that's all the closure I'll ever need. When she walked away without explanation, that was her final statement. She told you everything. Now you owe it to yourself to listen. 2. Silence is not a void. It's space to rebuild. Most men confuse silence with emptiness. They think if she's gone, if the messages have stopped, if the phone stays dry, it means something's missing. Wrong. That silence is your sanctuary. It's the fertile ground for something new. It's where broken men are rebuilt into unbreakable forces. Sit in the silence. Not with fear, with discipline. Let it harden your focus. Let it clarify who you were, who you are, and who you're about to become. Let it isolate you, because isolation breeds evolution. The silence that's breaking you today, that same silence will be the foundation of the man she no longer recognizes. And one day when she scrolls through her feed, hoping you've left some digital breadcrumb behind, she'll find nothing, just silence. And that silence will be deafening. 3. You're not heartbroken. You're unfamiliar with power. Let's reframe what you're feeling. You say you're heartbroken. You say you feel lost, unsure, defeated. But what you're actually feeling is unfamiliar power. This is the first time you've had the opportunity to build without distraction, without obligation, without emotional dependency. It's uncomfortable because it's new. She was your focus. She became your emotional home. Now that home is empty, and you're confusing that emptiness for loss. But it's not loss. It's space. And space is sacred. Most men waste that space by chasing closure, stalking social media, or spiraling into self-doubt. You don't do that. You treat that space like a training ground, mental, physical, spiritual, because this isn't the end of a love story. It's the origin story of your comeback. 4. Emotional discipline is your ultimate revenge. She expected weakness. She expected chaos. She expected texts, breakdowns, voice notes at 2 a.m. saying, "I miss you." That's the script she wrote for you. But you burned that script the moment she left. You don't play the emotional game anymore. You don't flinch. You don't explain. You don't respond. Why? Because real power isn't loud. It's silent. Real power isn't in reaction. It's in restraint. Let her wonder. Let her check your stories and find nothing. Let her ask mutual friends and hear you're thriving, but privately, quietly, powerfully. Emotional discipline is your revenge, not because it hurts her, but because it rebuilds you. You stop bleeding energy. You stop outsourcing peace. You start mastering self. Every urge you resist, power gained. Every text you don't send, power gained. Every time you sit in pain and choose purpose, power gained. That's how legacies are born, not through love lost, through self found. 5. Obsession is her drug. Cut off the supply. Understand this. For many women, especially the ones used to being chased, attention is oxygen. When you stop giving it, they suffocate. She expected you to orbit her, to watch her stories, to like her selfies, to send "I miss you" when the nights got long. That's the addiction. That's the game. But you're not playing anymore. You cut the oxygen line, not out of spite, but out of power. You become emotionally invisible, not pretending to move on visible, not posting to make her jealous visible, truly invisible. No reactions, no digital breadcrumbs, no presence in her reality. This makes you a mystery, and the mind hates mysteries. Open loops demand closure, and the less she knows about you now, the more she obsesses over what's happening behind the curtain. That's the paradox. You become unforgettable by disappearing completely. 6. Don't show her the glow up. Make it so big she feels it in her chest. The revenge body, the success story, the Instagram flex. Most guys post it hoping she'll see it. That's not growth. That's a performance. True transformation isn't for her. It's for you. It happens in silence, in sweat, in solitude. It's not documented. It's embodied. You evolve not to make her miss you, but to never again become the man who needed her to feel valuable. The comeback isn't what she sees. It's what you feel when you wake up focused, fueled, and finally free. That's when you win. Not when she texts, "I miss you." Not when she says, "You've changed." But when her name crosses your mind and you feel nothing. Because that's not numbness. That's freedom. 7. Detachment isn't coldness, it's mastery. Let's clear this up. You're not a monster for moving on. You're not heartless for going silent. You're not toxic for choosing yourself. Detachment isn't apathy, it's mastery. It's the discipline to separate your self-worth from someone else's inability to love you right. It's the clarity to see her exit not as a loss, but as a test. And guess what? You passed because you didn't beg. You didn't chase. You refused to be broken. That's not cruelty. That's evolution. 8. You are the foundation, not her, not the relationship, you. At the core of this entire journey is one truth. You were always the foundation, not her, not the relationship, you. She may have added color to your life, but the structure, that was always yours. And now it's time to rebuild that structure stronger. Steel spine, sharp mind, open heart, guarded by earned wisdom. You don't chase women anymore. You attract them. You don't explain your value. You embody it. You don't break when she leaves. You rise. Because you were never built on someone else's presence. You were built for purpose, for discipline, for self-mastery. Final words, the Stoic path begins now. No closure? Perfect. That silence she left you with? You turned it into strength. That confusion she gave you? You turned it into clarity. That heartbreak she caused? You turned it into power. You're not seeking answers anymore. You're living them. Welcome to the new you. Quiet, resilient, unshakable. Comment below, I didn't get closure, I got stronger. If this spoke to you, don't just watch, act, subscribe, like. Share this with the man who needs to hear it. Because this movement, it's not about heartbreak, it's about rebirth. Welcome to Psychology Truth. Let's keep evolving.